Are you spending too much on hiking boots? I have been a diehard fan of my La Sportiva hiking boots, but recently I have put the budget-friendly Nortiv8 boots to the test. And I must say, I've been impressed.
Impressive. Most impressive.
So the question is, can a boot that only costs $50 stand up to the $200 giants in the world of outdoor footwear? In today's video, I'll break down the nitty-gritty of both boots, and I'll share my honest thoughts on whether or not the Nortiv8 boots are the real deal or just a budget bust. Stay tuned as we deep dive into this footwear face-off. Hey y'all, my name is Adam and this is Dad Camps, and I'm a dad who loves getting outdoors and talking about all the gear that goes with it. If you like that too, don't forget to subscribe. All right, so these La Sportivas are the Ultra Raptor 2 mid hiking boot. And I got these a couple years ago, and these have had a lot of miles, and I've put a lot of I've definitely put a lot of miles on these, and they've definitely held up. While I'm going to be comparing these two shoes today, I'm not going to focus so much on a review of these because I do love these. This video is more about, can the budget shoes hold up to a high-end hiking boot and compete? But La Sportiva is known for their more like climbing shoes and trail runner shoes. And these boots are actually designed to have the same kind of profile as their trail running shoes, with a beefier sole and then obviously the high ankle boot to it. The Nortiv8 boot is the Armadillo 2. Nortiv8 just came out with this model, I think in the fall or late last year. Full disclosure, Nortiv8 did send me these shoes for free to try, but no strings attached, no review required or anything like that. So these are my own opinions about these. I've gotten to try these out. I've done quite a few miles in them so far, and I want to let you know what I think. All right, let's talk some specs. First things first, let's talk price. And these La Sportiva boots, they, when I bought them, are around $199. This was 2 years ago. I think you can get this model for a little bit cheaper now, being that it's a couple years old now. But for comparable boots like this, you're gonna be in the somewhere between $150 and $200 range. The Nortiv8 Armadillo, as I mentioned, are only $50. I think MSRP is $80 on them, but typically you can get them for $50 to $59. So quite the significant price difference right out of the gate. Okay, the next most significant difference is probably the weights. So the La Sportivas come in at 2 pounds and 4 ounces. That's part of why I bought these, was I researched lightweight hiking boots. And these are definitely on the lightweight side of what you can find out there. The Nortiv8s come in at 10 pounds, 14 ounces. So a good 10 ounces heavier for the pair. And there's a rule of thumb out there for outdoor footwear, is that a pound on your feet is equal to 5 pounds on your back. So going with that math, that would make these 10 ounces heavier, which would be equivalent to 50 ounces on your back, which is about a little over 3 pounds, which is not insignificant. And if I were able to spend $100 to $150 to drop 3 pounds out of my pack weight, I'd probably do it. So that's definitely not an insignificant con to the Nortiv8s, but that's not all that we're talking about here either, so I'll get into some of that a little bit later. Both shoes are waterproof, and they have tested the waterproofness, is that a word? Water resistance. They both passed the test at 12 hours of no leakage, which is a pretty standard test for waterproof hiking boots. Both of these passed that test clearly. I will say that No, I won't say that. All right, next up, let's talk DIN abrasion. That's D-I-N abrasion. So this is a test that shoe manufacturers have done where they apply the sole of the rubber to a sheet of sandpaper-like material mounted to a spinning disc or a spinning drum, and they test how much it wears on the rubber. Well, I don't have the numbers of the DIN abrasion of the La Sportivas. The Nortiv8 is significantly impressive compared to other boots in the more top tier market. The Nortiv8 test comes in at 88 millimeters. When you compare those to other higher end hiking boots such as Merrell or Columbia, those tests come in anywhere between the 120 to 160 range. For some of those, the La Sportiva's abrasion tests are coming in at twice as good as some of the competitors. And I will say too that I definitely have not put as much miles on the Nortiv8s yet, but I've put a couple dozen on them and they are holding up amazingly well. I mean, you can tell the shoe, the sole looks fairly new there compared to the La Sportivas. Have definitely worn down a lot. Like I said, these have dozens and dozens of miles on them. These maybe have 2 dozen on them. Not comparing apples to apples there, but so far I have been impressed with the wear and tear on the Nortiv8s. All right, let's just talk about the look and feel a little bit. The Nortiv8s definitely feel like a much sturdier boot. They just seem thicker and they are definitely bigger. They have a bigger footprint, literally. And I don't know if you can really tell the difference there, but lining those up. These are the same size shoe, both size 12, but the Nortiv8 certainly looks a little bit bulkier. Maybe you can tell more if you look at it like this as well. Like I said, the La Sportiva has more of that trail runner shoe profile with the high ankle. You know, I like the look and feel of the Nortiv8s. They're not quite as low profile, but they do feel sturdier. And there's also multiple color options on their website if you prefer to have that. The main thing I've noticed as far as wearing them goes, as far as how they would feel, is it feels like the arch support is not quite as high in the Nortiv8s compared to the La Sportiva. Contemplated actually like swapping out the inner sole, which you can actually pull out of the Nortiv8s. You can take that out. And you can kind of see there, it's not very much arch support. And so I think I might try swapping those out and putting in an arch support that has a higher arch support. I do like to have a pretty high arch support. So that may not be something that everybody wants or needs, but for me, I would think that swapping it out with a little bit higher quality support there might greatly improve the comfort of wearing the Nortiv8s. But other than that, they've been very comfortable to wear. I kind of thought that the, thicker sides would kind of rub on my ankles some, or, that it would, not feel comfortable when it's all laced up. But there hasn't been any issues like that whatsoever. They've been perfectly comfortable to wear. I've not had any blisters or rubbing or anything like that. The toe box in the Nortiv8 definitely feels wider, so it feels like you could wear thicker socks. And at first I thought my feet would like move around in them too much, but that hasn't been the case. Certainly that's not the case in the La Sportivas. They're definitely much more clamped down like a trail runner shoe would be. The heel, I think, of the Nortiv8, you lock right into that heel and your shoe does not, your foot does not move around in the shoe much at all. And lastly, I wanted to compare the ankle support on these. And it's something that I have noticed on these is that the high ankle on the La Sportivas, these are pretty floppy, and I've had them for a couple years, so they've got some use and they're worn in, but the material on these is just a much softer material. You can see it's kind of compressible. Compared to the La Sportiva one, these are much stronger, thicker materials. This brings me to another point that I want to make about these shoes is that the ankle support does seem significantly sturdy on these, where you feel very protected. It's a very stable base, and the sturdiness of the high ankle makes you feel like these are definitely going to support your ankles very well. And I will say, I was wearing these La Sportivas this summer when I was in Glacier National Park, and unfortunately on day 4 of a 5-day trip, I turned my ankle when we were going down a hill pretty significantly to where it swelled up. I got a full cankle going and everything. I was wearing these shoes fully laced up at the time, stepped on a rock maybe the size of a golf ball and turned it right over. And I've got to say, if I was wearing these, I don't think that would have happened. So that's definitely a mark in the win column for the Nortiv8s, in my opinion. All right, so I want to try something that I haven't done with these boots yet. Is I'm going to take them out and do a side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to go out on a trail and take these out there and put one shoe from the La Sportiva on one foot and the Nortiv8 on the other foot, so I can actually feel what they feel like on a trail, side by side, and see if I can notice any differences. And so I'll take you along with me on that. So let's go out and check them out and see how they do. right, so took the boys out to get a quick geocache, and I've got my La Sportiva on my left and my Nortiv8 on my right, and first impressions, definitely feel a difference. The Nortiv8 feels roomier and kind of feels more comfortable, honestly. The La Sportiva, I laced them up pretty tight because I kind of wanted to test the ankle support and how that felt, and so I laced them up about as tight as I could, and honestly I feel like the La Sportiva kind of cuts into the ankle a little bit more, and Nortiv8 is just pretty comfortable on the ankle. So yeah, that's my first impression. So we'll go find a geocache here and see how they keep feeling. All right, so another thing I've noticed is that the traction on both are pretty comparable. So not like a huge win there, but I haven't noticed a negative either way, I guess I should say it like that. But as far as the ankle support goes, in the Nortiv8, it feels like it would be hard to roll my ankle. It's just such a wide platform and very stable. So it feels like, you know, you'd really have to turn it off of a major rock ledge to turn that. And then you got some pretty major support on the ankle there. So that definitely feels pretty darn solid. And another thing I noticed is the strength of the sole. It does feel it feels harder, you know, stiffer in the Nortiv8. I can definitely feel more pointy rocks and stuff through the sole of the La Sportiva. So that's definitely a win for a $50 boot, in my opinion. You know, I saw Devin from Backcountry Exposure said that there's not a rock plate in the Nortiv8 shoe. I'm not certain about that, but it feels very solid compared to the La Sportiva shoe. So pretty interesting results so far, pretty comparable feeling. Also, I don't really feel the weight difference. You know, when I'm walking, it's not like, oh, my right leg is feeling so much heavier than my left, or if I wasn't really consciously thinking about it, trying to compare them, I think I would forget that I'm wearing two different shoes. So maybe the weight isn't all that much of a factor after all. You know, honestly, when I got these, I expected the Nortiv8 shoes to feel like budget shoes. You know, I expected them to be stiff and slightly uncomfortable, and, you know, just like not be that excited to wear them. But honestly, I would be very happy with these if I just bought them for 50 bucks and, you know, was trying to get a good pair of shoes for cheap. I think I'd be very, very satisfied with them. Overall, I do feel like the La Sportiva comfort wins out a little bit. Is it 4 times as comfortable? No. But, you know, if I was gonna be doing a lot of miles or doing like a long excursion, like, you know, 50, 60 miles in a few days, or, you know, a week-long backpacking trip or something like that, I would probably still want to have the La Sportivas, but it's close. And so, you know, if you're on a budget, I don't think you can go wrong with the Nortiv8s.
But hi. What did I do? Hi.
All right, we snagged us a few geocaches, right, bud?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Yeah.
We're gonna head back to the car. We'll go back into the office and wrap up the video. All right, so let's talk overall results and conclusions on these puppies. Honestly, it'd be hard to say that I would trust these to take them out on a long excursion, like a 5-day backpacking trip. Haven't tried that yet. I've only taken them out on day hike. Gotta say, I would be nervous to take them out. The one thing that would make me want to is if I was walking on rocky terrain or carrying a heavy pack. The ankle support on these would be attractive, and I probably would put these on instead of the La Sportivas in that case. But if you need spiky boots and you're really trying to do this on a budget, I don't think you're gonna go wrong with these, and this is gonna be a really great entry-level hiking boot, potentially even better than an entry-level. Long-term durability and performance on these, obviously still TBD. These only came out in the fall, and I've only had them for a few months now. We'll see, right? But I will say they're holding up great so far, and they seem very well manufactured. And at this price, maybe they're not gonna last you 5 or 6 years, but you could buy another pair of these every couple years and still spend less than you would on more of a top tier hiking boot. So at this price, I think you're gonna be hard pressed to find a better deal at that price. And I definitely recommend checking them out. Nortiv8's quickly building a solid reputation. And unless you're needing something very specific, like a lightweight boot or something that fits you a certain way or something like that, I certainly think these are worth giving a try. I was pleasantly surprised by them, and I think you might be too. So thanks Nortiv8 for sending these out. I'm definitely gonna keep on trying them out on the trail. And now I have a question for you. If this was helpful, would you consider subscribing? It would really help me out. I have a goal to get to 1,000 subscribers by March. Please help me hit my goal so I can keep growing and putting out videos. Thanks, and remember, you got this, Dad.